Alright, looks like we're on.
Are you hearing it fine, or?
Yeah.
You guys are all coming through pretty clear. Spitfire, can you hear us? Hello, Spitfire, can you hear us?
Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
Martin, you're
I can hear you. It looks like there's some really crazy shit popping off in Minneapolis right now. There's people getting beat, tear gas, flashbangs. It's nuts. Anyway, it's happening across the country right now, gentlemen. And we've been calling this out for years. And we're watching it unfold right before our eyes, aren't we?
That's fact.
Yeah.
And thus, Western civilization crumbles. At this point,
Babylon will
honestly,
burn
no
real
great
quick.
loss. We need to stop focusing on Western and Eastern kingdoms, because, saying, this is the pinnacle of Western civilization. In the era of
Well, this
safe
is what Western
spaces and
civilization has
congressional
become.
sit-ins, Western civilization doesn't seem like too much to be proud of anymore. A
Uncivilized.
generation of lazy pricks who sit on their asses and do nothing and expect to be given the world on a silver platter for it.
And coddle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, the whiny Tumblr piss babies. I'm offended by that. You're triggering me. I need my safe space. Masagi knees.
That's what they expect. That's what they've been taught to expect that shit.
This is a generation that never spanked his children, never told no, never denied anything by their parents. And as such, they have grown up to become spoiled, entitled little fucks.
That's it.
You know what I do see as the positives in our children, though, is that they really do. They're not buying into this race war bullshit. They really do not care about. They integrate. I mean, how many white kids think it's the coolest thing to be black? So our kids actually get it from that standpoint.
I'm still a bit divided on that personally, but that said, I have spent time working with, fighting alongside people from many different places of many different races, and what I found is the race has very little to do with it. It comes down to the person.
Good evening,
In
everyone.
large part, it comes down to the individual.
But the kids in general, they're not buying into this race war bullshit.
Yeah. Especially,
The adults are.
Neither are we.
Yeah. Down
Right.
here, if you go around down here, you'll see, white kids, black kids, Spanish kids, Asian kids, Arab kids, doesn't matter. Like, you'll just see this massive bunch of all these kids just walking around, hanging out, doing whatever, and race is rarely, if ever, mentioned. Oh shit.
Correct. Race is barely ever mentioned because they're not buying into this part of it. Sad the adults are,
Well,
and they're trying to make this. Oh, go ahead, brother.
Well, the other thing you notice is that if you talk to, younger guys down here, or even guys my age, you don't have them saying, hey, this is my Spanish friend Jose, or this is my black friend Jamal, or this is my Asian friend Ishan. They say, this is my buddy Jose, this is my buddy Jamal.
My buddy. Your generation Y,
race
right?
is irrelevant to them. Race.
Your
race is
generation
irrelevant.
Y, right? You're 23.
Yeah.
you know, you represent a completely different generation than Sentinel, Damien, and myself for Generation X.
Yeah, well, not so different. I didn't have the background that a lot of these millennials do. You know, the millennial generation does not represent me.
No,
No.
you're talking about the baby boomers.
Is that the one after the generation Y, the millennials?
Yeah, that's the one now with all the like now if you're like born around the turn of the millennium, you're a millennial. You know, Generation Y was all the 90s. Now it's millennials.
What's going on is that live in Minneapolis right now? I just saw it flash across.
I'm picking it up right now. We picked one up last night. But what I'm seeing, Generation X, Generation Y, even the baby boomers right now, they are sick and tired up with what they're seeing with this with the 29-year-old man.
Spitfire breaking up again.
Yeah, you got
They're
robots.
older guys. They're like our grandpas. Going, what the hell? We're seeing almost a unity between alternative media and mainstream media, because they're coming straight out and calling Hillary a criminal now. Are considering the 28 pages redacted. You know what I mean? This is a different. They're rebelling against the powers that be. They're sick of it, and they're willing to lose their jobs to do it. I mean, we see Jeanette Napolitano, or Jeanette.
Oh yeah. V for Vendetta. Anybody seen that one? She's lying.
I have
How
to
do you know?
not.
She's lying. How do you know? She always blinks a lot when she's reading a story that she knows is bollocks. Meanwhile, you see those eyes going up and down like a frickin' strobe.
Exactly.
Yeah. How can you tell that a politician is lying? How can you tell that a newscaster is lying? How can you
His
tell that a
lips are
businessman is
moving.
lying? His lips are moving and words are coming out.
Right.
Oh. I'm gonna make America great again. No, you're not. You're the same establishment that we've been freaking force-fed since the dawn of this nation. You're just wearing a different mask over it.
Oh, I saw a Facebook post. I'm sure it was removed, but I got the picture before they took it off Facebook. I will share it privately, but I can't show it here. But I have to say it's Hillary's face and Trump's face, and it's kind of mixed up and jumbled and.
On second thought, please
Sure
don't
is.
say that. I don't have
Did
any brain.
that lose audio, guys? Did you guys lose me?
Repeat,
No,
you're back
I got
now.
you.
Well, I was talking about Judge Janine Pirro and Andrew Napolitano, who,
Nope, didn't hear that.
I mean, Judge Napolitano,
Judge Napoleon.
he was thrown off Fox.
Napolitano.
No, right, Napolitano.
Fox?
He was thrown off Fox. They didn't want him anymore because of his rhetoric. So they said, speaking out against Clinton, and the people begged for him to come back. They had to let him come back.
Wow.
I mean, these are people that I'm seeing people in Fox, CNN, MSNBC,
People are
that
jumping
are speaking the
off those like
truth,
sinking ships
and
now.
I'm loving it.
Yeah, there's people jumping off of those networks like sinking
Yes!
ships now. Viewers
Yes!
and the personalities.
Absolutely.
I mean, Gretchen Wilson, I think. Gretchen Wilson, that's the female newscaster. She's suing Roger Ailes for sexual harassment. She left Fox News. She was the
I mean,
anchor for Fox and Friends, their morning block, and she left the network. And she's suing Roger Ailes, the CEO of Fox News, for discrimination and sexual harassment.
It's time for us to stop, capping on the mainstream media. That's That's more divide and conquer now.
We are.
Is us saying mainstream media sucks balls. Not really. I'm seeing a lot of alternative media that sucks balls right now.
No,
They're listening to blatant lies. You guys, do you feel me on this?
Yeah, absolutely.
When we see alternative media,
people in the mainstream media are just as sick of this crap as we are, and they're sick of the fact that they have to fucking repeat it like it's gospel.
Right.
They're sick and tired of having to repeat the line of crap that the politicians are feeding them like it's fucking gospel truth. They want to tell the real truth. They want to tell the real truth.
They do want to tell the real truth, and one day
they're allowed
they're going to throw their script down on the floor, and they're going to be like, hey, this is what's really going on. You need to wake up.
Yeah. Okay. Fuck the water skiing squirrels. Here's something that you actually do know about. Here's some updates on Ukraine that we haven't talked about for the past year and a half because it's no longer politically convenient. To admit that the United States government is funding a fascist regime in Kiev.
You are not allowed to talk about that or Hillary Clinton right now.
Because the U.S. was secretly funding ISIS. Or even here's some updates on the investigation into Hillary's dealings with the Saudi Arabian government.
No, they were openly doing it. The government has been sending cash to our troops to the villages for a very long time.
Yep. But that's it, Billy. You're correct. They're not talking about that. They're not talking about Clinton. They're not talking about
because here's
a year ago
fruits that can take 25 pounds off your belly. You think I'd give a shit? If I want to take 25 pounds off my belly, I will turn off the fucking television, get up, and go for the fucking walk.
He's almost like, who is that?
I gained 10 pounds last week on my camping trip. Holy mackerel.
Well, you're outside, you're eating good, so, there you go.
But it's so blatant right now in their face, because they don't think they can lose. I mean, they're, you want to get pissed off about Clinton not getting indicted, which she's probably still going to get indicted. Doesn't mean she's going to get her court date.
I saw a picture of FBI Director Comey that made me really think of this whole thing, and it says, yeah, I know the bitch is guilty as hell, but I don't want to be the next to die mysteriously.
Right.
Well, he'll partner her if she gets in any trouble at all. He'll just fucking partner. And he'll get away with it, and they'll get it sugar.
Yeah. Larry Nichols comes out on air and says, Alex, and that was just me, Alex, over the past 2 decades. I mean, Larry Nichols been talking about this for almost 2 decades. He's a hitman, and he knows where the bodies are buried.
Seriously. The one thing I'm not liking about
this what is that?
Yeah. But like, seriously, the one
he
thing
talks
I'm not
about
liking
Ukraine,
about
he talks about Russia.
Right?
I'm sorry, say again?
He talks about what you're talking about, Billy. Ukraine, Russia, he talks about the whole big picture.
Oh. Well, I haven't been keeping up as much on that one because the front's kind of settled down at this point. There seems to be an uneasy stalemate between the Donetsk, Luhansk, and the Kiev regime. Both sides are simply too exhausted to continue.
I agree.
They're taking time to recover stocks of manpower and weaponry. Russia's still been funneling weaponry to the LPR and DPR forces through Belarus and through Romania. They've actually had sightings of Russian convoys in the northern part of Romania heading towards Ukraine.
This is true. Billy, I have a question for you. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you all right.
Well, by tonight at midnight, which is already passed, we have the Khazarian Mafia, the Black Dragons. They issued certain terms and conditions that need to be followed by the elites. How much truth is there in this and the Black Dragon Society, and how much power do you really think they have?
Hang on, the Black Dragon Society is the
really
mafia.
distorted there, Eric.
Say again?
You're really distorted.
Yeah, there it goes again. I remember how good I sounded when we came on, and I told you my controls are getting messed with. That's just all there is.
Sounds okay.
In fact, my firewall's not on right now, so if you'd like to try to attack my computer, now would be the time to do it. I'm able to get my firewall to. You know what? Don't give a fuck. Go ahead.
Wait.
Because I got a couple other computers I can use.
Black Dragon Society, Spitfire?
Yes, sir, in the Kazari Mafia. And I'm gonna get my try to get my sound better. I'm gonna mute out.
Yeah, I'm looking that up. The. Oh, crap.
Illuminati? You all right there, Bill?
I'm alright. I will be. Negotiations between Black Dragon Society and Illuminati are continuing. Oh, wait, no. What the hell? That's from 2010. Why the fuck is that the number one?
Because people read that the most.
Well, people need to realize.
I hijacked a video from somebody on YouTube, and this is actually a really good video. So
bring that up, dude. We're gonna watch that and comment. I'll be right back.
So I messaged him and I said, hey, I have an alt media show, and I'd like to show this if I could. So I went ahead, and he said, go for it, show it, you know. So I was gonna say. See if I can message him here. Oh.
I'm looking up the Black Dragon Mafia deal, and whatever results there are pretty scattered. There's not really a lot of concrete information. Whatever this is, they want it kept quiet. Whatever this deal is with the Black Dragons, they don't want anybody knowing about it.
So I guess there's not a lot there, huh?
No, they're really, somebody's paying really good money to cover this up, I think. Either that or somebody was owed a hell of a favor.
Huh. Well,
either or at this
society
point
like
don't
that.
surprise me. And you know, the process of trying to investigate stuff like that usually meets with the same amount of success as the action depicted in my profile picture.
Yeah.
Selim, what are you doing? Selim, no, don't hit that. Selim, you...
That was the wrong button. Yeah. There we go.
Ne valia duraka.
I saw that.
You cannot hide it, Samaritan. Fortunately for you, where you are right now, it's legal, so we can't really say anything about it, even if we wanted to.
I wouldn't, even if I could. I don't,
10-minute drive. I go to the
where
pawn
I
shop.
live, it's not legal. And you know what? I've had some really good here lately.
Oh, nice.
It
Such a good
was,
stress
oh my
reliever.
God, it was great.
Nice. So tasty.
So sticky too. Oh my God,
Ever had Moonrock?
so sticky. So sticky, it stuck to my fingers.
Oh, nice.
Hey, Damien,
Oh,
have you
yeah.
ever tried Moonrock?
Yes, yes, I do like moon rocks.
He. Oh, man. That
I
stuff will
like
send you
anything
into orbit.
associated with moon rocks.
Yeah. That's about the only way you're getting to the moon, because we all know the Apollo landings never happened.
Not through the radiation belt. Nope.
But hey, you didn't see anything.
You're right. You know when they show pictures of the Earth, supposedly, you can't even see any of the hundreds and hundreds of satellites that we have up.
Yeah, you'd think with all the crap that we've left up there, satellites, rocket parts, even a bucket of fried chicken.
Right? You would see something floating around.
Yeah, you would think that you would see a massive band of crap,
Junk. Yeah.
basically a landfill floating in our orbit.
Pretty much.
And they say that there's like 24, 25, 26,000 of these things floating around the Earth at any given time.
A satellite?
No, just articles of space trash, and they only
Oh.
have resources to track like 3,000. You know,
Yes.
why the fuck are we still sending people up into space if you can only track like 1/8 of these things, and just one hitting you can expose you to fatal levels of radiation, rapid explosive decompression, vacuum exposure, hyperebulism.
Any
Well,
number of
That's
really hardcore shits.
yeah, that's suicide. Essentially, you're sending these people up as kamikaze.
Yep. Exactly.
Why would any scientific agency, why would any sane person with any shred of common sense send up something like that, some big object like that, just to be a big fucking target for the orbital shooting gallery?
Right? I was just gonna say, why would you go up into space and potentially hit one of these pieces of giant space junk at hundreds of miles an hour?
Try thousands, tens of thousands.
Yeah.
Even.
Okay, thousands even. Yes.
The kinetic energies unleashed from such an impact would be explosive.
Yeah. You would die instantly.
Yeah.
Heck, in a world of hurt.
And you would be short about, I don't know, $200-300 million worth of spaceship.
Well, now they're building. They're even more than that. 800 million.
Don't need to start a space garbage collection company. Go public with it.
We could mine this belt of crap and recover so much rare earth metals, gold, silver, platinum,
Yep.
precious ores, refined too, in a refined fungible form. There's enough of this crap that you could go up and gather it and come back down a very rich person.
That's what I would think. There's got to be a
Yeah.
lot of high-grade material in those
That
freaking
is
pieces
sent
of
up at
garbage.
all, and we're not just rocketing it up to shoot it into a freaking wall that God built around the Earth to keep us safe from aliens.
Exactly.
Which is entirely a possibility as well, that the dome of the heavens is a literal dome surrounding the Earth to keep aliens out, because holy shit, Aryans.
It's called the Van Allen belt, right?
Yes, the Van Allen radiation belt.
Keeps us from going out of it, too.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
Well, it keeps in what's supposed to stay in, and it keeps out what's supposed to stay out.
Exactly.
But we really need to do a better job of heeding God's word when it comes to, you know, I have given you this world. Why are we so obsessed with going out and colonizing all these new worlds when we've got one right here that's perfectly serviceable if we stop treating it like shit?
That's it. Yeah, we ruined
That's
this one.
because
Let's
we're
move
gonna
on to the
ruin it.
next
They're
one.
going to rape it and ruin it and take everything from it and burn it until there's nothing left. So they have to find somewhere else to colonize. Otherwise, there won't be anywhere for the elite to live after they kill us all off.
That's it. Clear cut Earth.
Well, I mean, there's plans to build some sort of arcology in Antarctica, from what I understand. They want to build like this gigantic mega city over Antarctica once all the ice melts. Figure that
Crazy.
it'll be far enough away from the tropics that it'll still be cool despite all the global warming, and all the melted ice will provide fresh water if it can be contained, and all the arable land that'll be there that won't be completely useless will provide them with food, they think.
That's it.
But, you know, that's still 500 million people. If that's the number you're planning on keeping alive, where are you going to keep all of them? Unless you're planning on keeping 500 million alive only as long as it suits your goals.
Yeah, that's about it.
And then I guess they just keep cutting all the lower branches off the tree as they go, you know, cutting the roots out from under them as they make their way up the hierarchy. And there will be last man on Earth, the CEO of humanity, you know, Rothschild the 23rd or 24th or whatever, and he will be sitting there saying, you know, I'm really sorry, me. I know I'm a valuable team player, but resource situation the way it is, I just can't afford to keep me on staff. Bang.
You're fired.
Oh yeah, not just fired, 44 Magnum fired.
But you got to figure they're looking to staff and populate all these underground cities they have in place, so you know they'll be doing that shit from the underground fucking castle.
Yeah, something tells me that won't last long.
A little tectonic plate shifting, a little crushage, right?
Just the temperature shift from the just the change in temperature in some areas from the climatic shift will render some of those areas completely uninhabitable.
Oh, they're not getting off the fucking hook. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
Oh, there'll be the fucking shit's gonna come down on them.
Where will you be
underground.
standing when it's payback time?
That's it.
The Supreme Court of the universe, where justice is not blind. What side will you be standing when it's payback time? Charlie
There he
Brown,
is.
man, he's a good musician and a good Christian too.
Oh,
Hey Spitfire, you're back. Can you hear us?
Are you there?
What's going on, guys? You know what? You know what's nice about this? If this happens when I'm live streaming, the whole show disappears. So that was
Yeah,
Hey, your audio sounds great, by the way.
yeah, it
I was
does. We'll get
downloading
into it.
some info on the other computer, but I stopped, and then what?
And what? There goes your sound.
Suka, блядь, not again.
Scheisse.
Merde.
Mierda.
Horda. Durmo.
Are those all the different dialects?
Yeah, those are all different ways to say shit.
Yeah, yeah, I got that. Yes, I love language.
Yeah. And it's very useful. If
Yes, it
you
is.
look at the wind talkers, if you can find something that you know your enemy has no idea how to speak, and then find a way to encode it on top of that, you're set. There's still not a lot of people who speak First Peoples languages, and there should be more, honestly.
Hmm.
Under, damn it, Spitfire.
There he goes.
But being able to understand First People languages is important because that connects them to their culture and provides us with a way to try and understand the world that they come from, try and step into their world and understand their experience.
That's right. I agree.
How'd Spitfire
Um,
go?
Yeah, apparently he went down again, but Damien, Samaritan, I know it's about a week late, but I wanted to wish you July Ayushtan Nayukba. Choctaw, happy 4th of July.
Before.
Oh, happy 4th of July, huh?
Yeah, in Choctaw.
In Choctaw, no less. Awesome.
Yeah. Well, when a good friend of yours is the only freaking Choctaw Indian in the whole of Romania, well, you pick up a few words here and there.
I guess so. Wow.
Awesome.
So how did a Choctaw Indian happen to be in Romania?
Because that's where his in-laws live.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah. Nah, he's a cool dude though.
Oh, man.
He's red pill. He's woke. He
Nice.
knows exactly what this is. He's seen this crap before. Because this is the same crap that the settlers pulled on them. So he
Right.
knows exactly what's happening, and he can't help but sit there with his popcorn and say,
Everything comes full circle.
"Not to say I told you so, but I told you so."
Right. Well, the U.S. has broken every single treaty that they've ever made, so.
And now they've broken the treaty that they made with their own people, i.e., the Constitution.
Right. The Fourth Amendment, the Second Amendment, the First Amendment.
Pretty soon they'll be breaking the third, too. I expect that shortly we'll see garrisons start taking over people's houses.
Yep. Not far off.
Oh, it's coming.
You have the right to remain silent, and I highly suggest you use it, punk.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, everybody wants to be Dirty Harry Callahan. Everybody wants to be the super cop.
Well, do you guys want to delve into this this video
Yeah, let's check out this vid you were talking about earlier.
to find?
Lay it on us, Damien.
I managed
Boys,
to
we can
find
handle
this
it.
a few days ago, and it was published. It was published a couple months ago, but I found it. I watched the whole thing, and I found it to be extremely informative. So this is by the Hippie Modern, and and I'll just let him. I'll just let it explain itself. 'Cause
Jill?
this is actually really really awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and mute out.
Yeah, give me 1 second. Let me hit mine too.
So apparently I can't mute out.
Yeah, I can't see or hear nothing. Or I hear you guys, but not the vid. Oh.
I don't know what the hell is wrong with this, but good Lord.
How about now, guys?
I hear you, but I don't see you, Damien, or the video.
Really?
Yep, just black screen.
Hold on.
It says you're presenting to everyone, so I don't know what's going on. It's just black.
How about now?
There's the video, but I can't hear it.
Can you hear it now? See it?
I can see it. Got no audio.
No audio. What the
No
hell?
audio. Sounds like it might be just muffled in the background or something. Like it needs to be turned up, or
The only way I can turn it up is actually turning my audio up. Let's see if you
it was
can hear
pretty
it now.
choppy, muffled. I don't even know if that was it.
Let's see. Can you hear that?
I can hear it just barely, but it's real low quality.
It sounds like it's coming through a tin can.
I don't know.
No?
I can
Nope.
hear something. Barely hear
Kind
it
of hear
though.
it, but it's just real low volume, choppy kind of.
Yeah, it's
I
low
wonder-
volume and sounds like it's coming through a pop tin.
Maybe if I don't understand why you wouldn't do that. Hold on. I guess I have to stop presenting. So I think I changed when I did that. I do. Is that better? Can you hear it?
Nothing.
How about now? It's going to be silent through this first part, but hopefully that'll fix it and everybody will be able to see it.
Yeah, we got good audio.
I sound okay?
Yeah, your
You
sound's
sound
coming
fine.
through clear. Your sound coming through clear, no problem.
Yes. It's pretty much. Let me know if you can hear this. When it starts. It should start with the cartoon.
Audio's real low level and real choppy, Dan.
Well, I can't do anything about that whatsoever.
What's going on over here?
Holy shit, he's
Hey,
back.
Holy shit, Tabret!
Cash.
hold on.
Fire!
Hold on, I'm going to share this with you, Eric. If I share this with you, Eric, can you share it on? Can you screen share it? Because it won't let me.
You're asking the guy who just got thrown off a couple times in the last fucking 20.
We're grasping
I
here, brother.
No.
Jeff.
Sometimes the
Video to
NSA,
work.
sometimes the NSA is licking our balls, but most of the time it's just this shit happens. This shit's been happening since the internet came out. Sometimes there's just fluctuations going on. Although,
All the time in our chat.
yeah, right. Riddle me this. We have cell phone towers right next to each other, within a mile of each other, 2 miles. They're everywhere. And 20 miles is the radius that they need to operate. So there's no other. I mean, we have tracking systems that would blow most people's minds if they had any clue what they could do.
Oh.
Oh yeah,
So
absolutely.
how can our internet fluctuate? Does theirs? You know, but anyway.
We can watch
you never
two
know.
rats humping in the middle of the woods
Right.
if we really wanted to. But that's only Ned.
That's the theme right there, man. I'm gonna use that. That's a new one for fucktard. Is two rats humping in the woods.
Yeah. If we really wanted to, we have the technology where we could look at two rats humping in the woods from 20,000 miles up in orbit. But,
Right.
But they
we
can't
don't
find
really
ISIS
want to.
driving branded Toyota.
Yeah, yeah. ISIS has a convoy of 400 brand new Toyotas, and we can't find that. But we've got the technology to look at this one fucking lion in the middle of the fucking Congo or fucking South Africa or whatever.
That's it.
We can do that with the satellites. We can't find this massive force of terrorists. Well, when we say terrorists, we mean semi-covertly Western-funded mercenaries.
That's it.
And it is Saturday night, and we're coming at you live and reasonably sober.
Entirely too sober.
Reasonably. I left a lot of space there.
No, it wouldn't be reasonable unless I was drinking something.
Eric, you got any vodka? I'm all out.
What were you guys talking about while I was gone?
I got some right here for you, Bill.
What were you guys talking about after the aliens?
Martin, I love you right now. No homo, I love you. Freaking hero.
They're coming back, guys, to abduct me again. Here they come, the aliens. What were you guys talking about before they came? Tell me.
Holy shit, Aryan! We were talking about how the media is as fed up with the line of crap that are being fed as the people are.
Yeah, isn't that neat? I'm loving seeing this because I'm seeing real badass red-blooded Americans in the media saying, "Fuck you, dude. We're done.
Yeah.
We're done with this shit."
We're going
there's
off
warrants
script.
out-
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
There's warrants out worldwide
Yeah.
for the Rothschilds, for the Rockefellers, in world courts.
Yeah. And
People
it's
there's a power
encouraging to
shift
see.
going on here. And good and evil are battling right now. It's on.
Yeah.
Sentinel
And
writes
good
about
just
it.
got a powerful kick in the pants.
Sure does, man. Sentinel, I've been using every little video I upload. I put a piece of your book, of course.
Thank you. I've seen
Somewhere-
caught a couple. I just watched the one you did yesterday, your live stream. I got the promo. I listened to the promo from when we first went live about a year ago. You got part of the promo in there.
I know
Good
it's
time.
hard. It's hard to believe that we've all been talking for as long as we have. I mean, I know I've been in and out, but that's because when I was working for Duchetti's, I didn't really have the luxury of saying I want to go home at 9 so I can do a broadcast with my boys.
Right.
That's it.
And now I
Well,
can
you
tell
could
Duchetti's
have.
to go fuck
Right.
himself.
Hey, right on.
Proper.
I gotta zoom in on that. What is that in your hand there? Is that a big gulp?
No, it's a coffee cup.
Oh,
Big
I thought
gulp coffee.
it was a big gulp filled with vodka.
I've done
I
that.
wish.
I've done that.
Billy, of course you have. you got any
I
vodka?
wish it was a big gulp with vodka in it. And just some vodka.
Yep.
I would
If
be
you gotta
loving it right
take
now.
booze through like checkpoints or something, put it in a coffee cup with a lid
Yep.
on it.
Yep. Don't take a vodka bottle.
No. Take a coffee cup.
No.
Take like a foam coffee cup with a lid. Tape a opened package of instant coffee to the underside of the lid. And that way they'll smell coffee, but it's
They
really
won't smell
not.
vodka. Right.
Yeah. And
Is
if you
that,
want to get alcohol,
Brandy, your old lady,
helping our
Damien,
image.
in the chat room?
Say
And
what
if you-
now?
if you got to get alcohol off your breath really quick, eat peanut butter.
Like we said, live and reasonably sober.
You got your girl bouncing tonight, Damien. Is that Brandy, your girlfriend, right? In the chat room.
Yep.
Oh,
Hey,
say
what's up, Brandy?
hey, what up?
Ooh.
I'm not sure if I ever have conversed with Brandy. Have I?
Possibly.
I talked to her on the video, I think, when she was there with you. Say what up?
Oh, hey. Here's the headwear.
Congratulations, Damien.
You know what? I'm pretty happy. I'm gonna say.
Oh, good tip from Kristen Cooper Kucharik. Am I saying that right? Parsley works too. Yes, it does. It's also good for reducing hangover. The great Roman philosopher Cicero, after a night of exorbitant partying with his friends and a little too much wine, would often chew fresh parsley leaves because it contains an enzyme that helps to mitigate the effects of hangovers on the human body.
And bad breath.
When in Rome.
That's right.
So you were talking about before I came back, how mainstream media and alternative media, the lines have become incredibly blurred. There's no more listening to mainstream media.
They're
Bullshit.
defecting. They're coming over to our side and joining the battle on our behalf. And I, for one, am incredibly moved and heartened and encouraged by it.
Right.
It really helps me to see that and realize, we have a chance. We've got some really powerful voices that are coming over to our side now. They're starting to wake up and see this for themselves, smell the crap pile that they've been told was a rose garden, and realize roses ain't brown.
This is unity. This is what
This is
when you talk
solidarity.
about uniting and finding unity, it's not within like a tiny little group of people, whether it be 200 or 2,000 or 20,000.
To unite the world.
Well, unite media. People, I believe, might forget their history.
6 months ago,
not
if you had told
realize
me this was going to happen, I would have told you were crazy.
Right. But this is
I would have asked
exactly
if perhaps you had
how
been
they
hitting
do it,
something
man.
else
They
besides
control
the bottle.
media. You control the propaganda and all the tools they have. I mean, they did this. They've been doing this for a long time, through the world wars.
Control the minds, control the future. That's why it's important to get a corner on media, on education.
Yeah.
That's got to be our two main fronts. It's got to be the media and education, because if these pricks have an opportunity to spew their vitriol, their fucking pablum to keep the people pacified. If they have the opportunity to fill our children when they're young and impressionable with the, the docility and the obedience and the blind faith in authority. I'm not saying that authority is necessarily bad. There has to be order. There has to be order of some sort. It can't be completely anarchy, as much as we'd like it to be.
Oh, why not?
Sooner or later, you do have rules that you run into.
But
But
I'd like to get away from the education rhetoric too. When we went through high school, junior high, when we went through the system, we were taught a bunch of bullshit then too. But it was basically just showing that you had the ability or aptitude to just do the work, to just get through.
yeah,
It's not like you're the whole.
I never learned how to change a tire or do my taxes, but I'm glad I know how to find the area of a triangle.
Right. I mean, it's not nothing that some of this stuff that's being like you'll see an article where they're talking about having a transgendered bathroom or whatever in a school, but this is like one out of thousands that actually go through and do this.
Yeah.
It's not happening on a huge scale. And one of my biggest problems with homeschooling, although the parents who are able to do that, that's cool. But
Not everybody can.
sports, if your child wants to play organized sports, I want my child to be able to go through playing football and going to dances and going to prom and interacting with children, all kinds of different children every day,
Yeah, you want them to have that social interaction because that is almost as, if not more important than what the curriculum actually teaches them.
Right, and that's the
So
paradox
they're
that
not
I've always
society.
found when it came to, the whole whatever they're pushing in schools right now, and the way we all grew up. They were pushing propaganda then. Look what we're finding out about World War II, and the fact that quite possibly only a quarter of what they told us died in the ovens is true. And you talk about a Bolshevik war, you talk about Russians, you talk about so many located in the European nations that were killed. I mean, 15 million Russians were killed during that same time period.
Yeah.
That's
The
not talked
Eastern
about.
Front was a meat grinder.
Right.
The Western Front
Not in high
was
school.
harsh, certainly, but the Eastern Front was where the bitterest, the harshest fighting took place, and that fighting took place longer than any. If you'll remember, Hitler attacked eastward first. And while, yes, they had the Molotov-Ribbentrop agreement, it didn't really count for shit. You would still have isolated skirmishes, which then escalated into larger ones, which then escalated into Operation Barbarossa. And, my great-uncle was there, and he was there for most of the Eastern Campaign.
Tell me more about Operation Barbarossa.
The idea was a two-pronged assault that would capture the grain fields of Ukraine to supply the German forces with bread and food, and to also capture the oil fields of the Caucasus, which would provide the fuel necessary for the German industrial and war machine.
So this was Germany, and who else was involved? What other countries?
This was Germany with the aid of Vichy French, Italian, and Romanian troops attempting to seize the Eastern Front, to seize the oil fields in the Caucasus Mountains, and to seize the grain fields of Ukraine, leading into a final push into Moscow to take them out of the war early on. The problem was...
This is World War II.
Yeah, this was World War II. This was 1940. This was June of 1941. The problem was Hitler was delayed in the preparations for the invasion, and so they weren't able to keep to the operational timetable that they had, and thus were faced with the wrath of General Winter. And, 50 million screaming commies.
Right, and how many million dead after that?
On the Eastern Front?
Correct.
On the Eastern Front of the Soviet side?
Yes.
approximately 25 million all told.
25 million.
Soldiers and
What are the
civilians.
statistics on Jews that were murdered?
Oh no, that's not Jews. That's
No. I want to compare the
total
two.
everybody, soldiers and civilians. Oh,
Right, I
you're
wanna
just
compare
asking
the
about
two
the Jews.
I want to compare the two numbers. So there was at least double, if not more.
At
Russian
least double,
killed.
possibly triple the
Right.
6
But
million
why don't
that
we hear about
supposedly
that?
perished at the camps.
Why we never hear about that? Why is that never?
Because the Jews, well, because the Bolsheviks aren't the ones that own the media.
Right.
Oh, Heinrich. Okay, I know I'm going to get yelled at for this. I know I'm going to catch a lot of crap for this, but I got to say it. Oh, Heinrich. Friheitsabends. Oh,
Heinrich.
mein Führer. 6 million degrees. Why so hot, mein Führer? Because, Heinrich, today we are cooking with gas.
Wow.
I'm so
Yeah,
going to
that's some hate mail waiting.
I don't have it.
I'm so going to hell, and I don't care.
I don't have a rim shot.
You know, yes, I believe that the numbers are exaggerated. No,
Well, not even if they're
I don't.
exaggerated. Just we're taught about how the evil Germans in other countries, they're allied with them, burnt and toasted 6, 7, 8, 9, depending on which history book you're looking at.
Well, that
Billions
depends.
Jews,
Are you
but
only
we had
looking at
over
are you
20
only looking at Jewish
million
casualties
Russians
or all the
alone.
casualties
Hear
of
about
the
the
camps?
Russians that were slaughtered. Why did we never hear about that?
Again, because the Bolsheviks aren't the ones running the news corporations.
Right. So it kind of takes us back to what you gentlemen were speaking about, is that the media.
Media is in the hands of a very wealthy few, a select few,
I don't think so anymore, though.
chosen people,
They're
if
starting
you
to get bought
will.
out. I think they're starting to get bought out right now by people that aren't such little bitches, and that goes back to the Kazarian Mafia. That goes back to the fact that there was a manifesto put out that if the elites didn't freaking ease back and stop destroying humanity, they're going to have to take action. I think I got cut off when we were talking about that earlier, before I had a chance to hear your response to it.
Well, I've been looking that up, but I still can't find very much on it. Whoever that is must want it to remain very hidden.
Benjamin Fulford. If you look,
No, don't listen to that guy.
he's, you know what, Sentinel, some of his stuff is disinformation, some isn't. You know what I mean? I try to pick and choose and look in between the lines.
Well,
But I'm just not so sure how strong this organization is, or if it's even true. You know, what's your take?
I'm doubtful
I've been watching that
because
guy for years.
you said this was the Black Dragon Mafia?
Correct.
The Black Dragon Mafia hasn't been able to exist in any kind of, powerful capacity since 2002 when they were all arrested by the LAPD.
I was gonna say, aren't they from Japan or China?
Yeah.
They're a triad that
Asian.
operates out of Los Angeles.
Yes, the triad.
Here's the claim.
It's like
that
the Asian Freemasonry.
the claim is that they are, and they are pretty powerful. How powerful, who knows? But if the elite, if the Illuminati,
Are you talking?
failed to make some
Are you sure you're not talking about the White Dragon Society? Because that's the one I really hear about.
most likely, live and reasonably sober.
Yeah.
It is. It's the White Dragon Society. I would say the Black.
White Dragon Society, the only organization actively resisting the Illuminati.
No, but Black Dragon Society is a sweet band. I highly recommend you checking them out.
What do you mean the only organization resisting the Illuminati? What the hell are we? Chopped liver?
Well, the only ones that have formed a formidable resistance. Here in the U.S., we kind of are being
We're
shot.
working on it.
But at the same time, I think we're rising up, man. Sentinel put it in his book,
Oh,
and
yeah.
this stuff was prophesized. This stuff was things that he matched up and found the same kind of timelines of people like Nostradamus. And we got about, by his timeline, 60, 70 years right now. And things can turn around right now. And if you interpret it the way you want to interpret it, there's several different ways you can. The way Sentinel says 60, 70 years, there's going to be great change. That does not mean that the world's going to end. It's going to start over. That could be a time of great battles, of principalities and spiritual warfare, and then a change for the better. I really try to stay away, and I believe you gentlemen and people that listen to us do, from the doom and gloom. An asteroid any day is going to fucking kill us. You know what? What's going to be done is going to be done. And Yeshua's will done when it happens, if something like that happens. But until then, I'm not going to live scared. I believe that none of you are going to live scared. We're
Yeah,
go out there
whatever's going to happen is going to happen. It's out of our hands largely, but if we can nudge the boat this way or that, why not try, you know?
But you don't believe, you know, your timeline's about 60, 70 years, correct?
Yeah, but I took that out of my second book, so that's not privileged information, but for certainly that's about what. Yeah, I'm still right in that ballpark.
What was that in relation to 60, 70 years? What would be the culmination? Of 60?
Just basically the end of approximately the end of us being here for about 6,000 years. That's just mankind as we are in the form we are
we
today.
are now.
Right.
Hairless.
Not as a
blah, blah, blah.
living species on the earth.
Yeah, I think so.
Necessarily.
Well, we've had our fun. We've
Well, I mean, it
had our
could be,
day.
but
You
I'm
know.
joining the Sam I Am fucking mafia, and we're gonna
Actually,
give
you
the
look more like the
military
cat in the hat.
coup.
are you gentlemen seeing it though? Are you seeing a shift? I mean, when we're sitting here, I would have said you're nuts.
Yeah.
If you would
I know.
have said
It's
at some point I'd be looking at alternative media and mainstream media is almost coming together and becoming.
if you had told me this was happening 6 months ago, I would have asked what else you were hitting besides that bottle.
Right. Because if you look at
Really?
the social media, you go into like the fringe loon that Sentinel always talks about segment. And the fringe loon's giant right now. Flat
Well,
Earth.
it's growing. It's eating the real truth movement.
Because
practically.
people are realizing that they're realizing that somebody somewhere is not telling them everything, and so they're
Right.
trying to fill in the gaps themselves.
I'm
And
still
all
not
I can
so
say
sure
is it's
that-
about damn time.
I'm still not so sure about the flat Earth theory. I mean, that
Yeah, but
goes.
would we actually spend our time talking about it?
We
I
know.
mean, it doesn't matter if the Earth is a freaking pancake on a turtle's head, you know? It's not going to change what they're doing right now.
It's not going
Right.
to change who's running the show and what they're doing and why and where they're taking us.
Right. I think that's all just a ploy to keep people distracted from the real truth.
Yep. I agree.
Because I've looked through my telescope, okay, and I know shit's round.
Well, yeah, I have a
I know that we're not flat. I know that we're not flat, and the rest of the fucking universe is round. That's bullshit.
That's right. You got it, bro.
Well, it's simple.
If you want to look into that, cool, go ahead, but don't make it the center of your life.
Right. Exactly.
Period.
Yeah. Well, being able to tell that the Earth is round is quite simple. You just have to do a basic calculation of radius based on the curvature of the horizon.
Exactly.
Cite the distance from your position to the edge of your field of vision, the horizon, and then you can solve for the radius of the circle, and it'll prove that the Earth is in fact round.
See, you'll say that, and the flat earther will smack up a fucking meme in your face.
Yeah.
Nothing to counter.
Something about fucking Morpheus goggles because, you know, we got to throw in a fucking Matrix reference here to make us seem like we're edgy and we're telling you the truth no one else is going to.
Now, Hollow Earth is something I can really get into because we've only gone
that's
10 to
plausible.
11 miles down.
That one's actually plausible because it could work. It could work.
We've
Number
only gone
one,
10,
to
11
create
miles
an
down.
artificial-
the Earth. That's like barely scraping the surface, so we don't know what's going on way the fuck down there.
That's just what they tell you. That's
we're not the
deepest we've
creator
been.
of the
They've been
universe,
deeper
so
than
it's not our position to know. His ways are higher than our ways, his thoughts higher than our thoughts. You know, if the Earth is round, then the Earth is round. If the Earth is hollow, then the Earth is hollow because that is the way that the Lord chose to make it.
What was your take on that, Sentinel? What were you saying?
The center of the Earth should be filled with hot lava, like what comes out of the volcanoes. What do you think?
Well, yeah, but it could be
Well, the
possible.
British Center is actually a highly compressed
Well, with gravity, I mean, you can see how gravity works by going to the bottom of a 20,000-foot chasm in the ocean, man. If you go down there, you'll be crushed.
Sure.
There's
You can
no
see how
such
becoming
thing as
a scoundrel
gravity.
peddler
Same thing underground, huh?
when it comes to flat Earth, Sentinel. You know, I'm trying to give them some breaks because
Oh, I don't believe in flat Earth at all.
no, I mean, I'm just trying to give them. I'm trying to extend olive branches again. You know, it's like okay, you
There's
can
no
look.
such thing as gravity either.
I look into Hollow Earth, and
I'm willing to entertain these theories until such time as I can determine for myself whether or not I think they're true.
Okay,
I don't think they're true.
I can almost guarantee proof with my explanation of no gravity. Okay?
Yeah.
Here's my explanation.
But still, if somebody has a differing opinion, I'm willing to listen to it. I might
Well,
not agree with it.
I base it off electromagnetism.
Stupid, but I'll listen to it. I'll hear them out.
Sure, as long as it's not like far-fetched.
guys, that was my fault because I took
As long as it's not, Maury Herschelberg claiming that the moon is a gigantic matzo ball.
Dude, we're
Yeah,
just
right?
needing the zombies to actually be able to look up and be like, you know what?
Monsters
Ow.
not even made of cheese.
We're still trying to get them to freaking grasp and comprehend what's being done right now in our sky. But we're gonna hit them with that. You know what I'm saying?
People can't even understand the fucking money, the fiat money system. I mean,
Right.
something that simple. It's just
Yeah, I think
insanity.
it's-
People in my wallet is actually not worth anything?
Because of your book, though, Sentinel, which was best-selling, the Brits freaking loved it. A lot of people learned
Yeah,
about the
it was number 2 yesterday over there again.
Yeah, God save the Queen. Brexit for all.
This book.
Save the Queen for the Hangman's news because she's in on it too.
But that's
Oh,
right.
there you go, Damien. Right on.
That's
Oh,
the
yeah.
You read
Of
it,
the
Damien?
Queen?
Sentinel.
For
You
the,
know
for
that,
the
right?
Queen of England, who
Yeah,
seems
no.
insistent on trying to conceal her role in all these things, I have only one thing to say to the Queen of England. Choki Allah.
Off with her head.
We got to play those drums because you say it in a language that you know we don't know. You got like a buddy listening going, ha ha ha!
I know, I need subtitles. I need to come up with subtitles that can translate from the 20 different freaking dialects that I end up speaking to, some modicum of simple English.
We're
But
not sure if
Choki Allah is an Irish phrase meaning our day will come. And if you know anything about the relations between England and Ireland, well,
I'm 100% Irish, brother. Nobody talks about how the Irish were fucking slaves and slaughtered in mass quantities. They took our potatoes.
yeah,
That's
you won't
right.
find anything.
Anybody who's complaining about
a history
slavery.
book on the Irish indentured servants who were the first slaves in the Americas, or on Gortamore, or the Rising. You'll find nothing on that.
Right. It's a well-known fact that there were a lot of scumbag white people that did a lot of fucked up shit. It's also a well-known fact that the slave,
Well,
the top of the heap, the slave owners and the freaking presidents of Africa, the top notch
chieftains and
people
kings
were
and
selling their own
sultans,
people out as slaves too.
Exactly.
Went both ways.
selling their own people.
Correct.
And then you've got the white people facilitating the trade, and then you've got the Irish who are also being sold as slaves. But, I guess that was just because somebody told somebody along the line that because the Irish all have red hair, they're gingers and therefore have no souls.
Isn't that odd? That I've never been to Ireland. Don't really hang around a lot of people that are freaking leprechauns and stuff. You know what I mean? But I still have this, passion inside me because I'm Irish. That pride that we have in our, and it's almost superficial at this point. I think people are pretty much losing even that inside them. They've gone to this whole.
Well, now they think it's all about green beer on St. Paddy's Day and wearing a fucking
it's about
foam
not
leprechaun
identifying
hat.
with yourself anymore. It's about not identifying as a human anymore. It's about not identifying with your primal instincts that Yeshua gave us.
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, at the end of the day, regardless of country or creed, we're all human beings created as image bearers by Yahweh to showcase the glory of God, of the Creator, of Yeshua, of the Savior, of the Holy Spirit. We're meant to be reflections of His image. And what I see in this world now is not reflecting that image. What I see is just the world reflecting its own ugliness back at itself.
Well, that's
That's it.
essentially what, if we're going to go biblically, that's essentially what God did when He cast Lucifer down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wait. Doom is
Yeah.
Lucifer? Wait.
Okay.
Where's Professor Doom?
I didn't hear that sound effect.
I think he's still in Latveria.
If you're going to go biblically, then the whole point of the matter is
Doom.
that God
Yes,
made
Fire, we get it. We get it. We get it. There are doom.
God made everything, including the bad.
Hey, Damien, is it all right if I give a shout out to Professor Doom? I haven't talked to him in a while. We've both been doing lots of research, but that dude is one cool cat. He's been nothing but honorable.
Yeah, go for it.
Great source if you want to find out the truth. Tell you that.
Yeah, I like Professor Doom.
Always have.
Yeah.
Yep.
Professor Doom is a very intelligent man. It's been my pleasure to speak with him on a number of occasions about various topics, and he's very well read, very well educated, and he knows how to convey that in a way that's easily understood.
Right.
And I look forward to being able to speak with him again, possibly very soon, I would hope. Unfortunately, gentlemen, it's about 2:15 local, and I have to be up early tomorrow, so I gotta
How
hop
old are
off.
you, man?
You bailing?
23, 24? How old are you, Billy Talon?
How old am I?
Yes.
Oh,
23.
God. Here it comes.
23 and 2:45. People are just getting last call. And it's too late for
Yeah,
you.
but I also have to be
Really?
up in about 4 hours.
Yes. Awesome. Well, good to have you on, bro. Good to see you and hear
Yeah,
you.
it was good hanging with you guys, and I mean, I'm sorry that I have to bail, but like I would stay on if I didn't have to be up in 4 freaking hours. But
Look at me trying to guilt you into staying on longer. We just missed you, man.
I know.
It's
Like,
come
you're
on.
not young. I'm up.
You
I'm
know,
Sleep an
four.
hour.
Sounds like we'll see you on Tuesday.
guys. But I do have one announcement. Well, actually, a couple. Before I do hop off, won't take long. I am getting a new job. I'm actually have an interview, which I've been told at this point is merely a formality. I already have the job if I want it.
FEMA? That FEMA came through for you, huh?
No, not FEMA.
Crisis
Guy around here has a small company that does radio and telecom maintenance, like the cell towers, radio
You
towers.
gotta work on the wind towers.
Yep.
So I can get in there and tinker with all the mind control waves.
Sure. And that's fascinating, too. And I would love to get together soon, guys, and talk about exactly what Billy just brought up.
He's
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
come to our side. That's what he said.
Right, we're gonna
Yeah,
we'll keep
I'm
Billy
gonna
up. and you lock
I'm
him.
gonna tinker with all the mind control waves and the equipment in those towers is meant to dumb people down and turn them to sheep, and I'm gonna tinker with that and turn them all into wolves.
Awesome.
There you
But
go.
I'm also going to be getting
Now we're
a new
talking.
place. I'm also going to be
Billy,
getting a
if we
new
keep
place.
talking about this,
What?
you're definitely not gonna get any sleep because I love this subject and I'm wide awake. I don't got to work tomorrow.
Well,
it's Sunday,
I
which is
do.
not the Lord's Day, by the
yeah,
way.
new job soon, new place soon, and hopefully I'll have a dedicated studio that I can do these broadcasts from and hop on with you guys more often. Yeah.
Well,
And
Sunday, man, I hope you're going to church because this is the day that we are supposed to worship our Lord. Not.
Yes,
We're going to
yes,
church
I know
today.
that Sunday.
Oh,
Sunday is the day that the how you say the modern churchianity movement has.
way to go, worship Saturn.
Yeah, that was today.
This is what going to church on Sunday is.
It's sun god worship, Antichrist worship.
Yeah, that's Saturday.
There was never a fixed day. It was just that you were supposed to have a day of rest. Catholics were the
It
ones
was
that
a
made it
floating
Sunday.
day.
All right. Well, much love, Bill. We'll get you.
I appreciate it, guys, and
Very
I will
soon.
be in touch. I will be in touch, and hopefully I'll be hopping on a few more of these in the very near future. But with that, I will bid you good night and good luck.
Billy, anytime, contact Damien and myself. Sentinel, you know that. We get busy.
Oh,
We don't
yes,
talk for a
but,
few days. But anytime you want to come on, anytime anybody on the screen right now wants to come on or do something, we got
Alright.
each other's backs.
It means a lot, guys. It really does. I appreciate it. I'll be around. I'll be around. Not to worry. But
All right. Get some sleep, man.
definitely need to. Night.
All right. Later, bro.
Yeah, brother. Fuck those hoes.
Yep.
Christ's sake.
Well,
So we couldn't get the video going.
hey, can you pull it up, Jeff?
Oh.
If I get it hooked up, it's sent to you.
I don't know how. Can't Eric? Can you fucking help him out with that, bro?
Sure. What do you want to do?
I would have an issue probably trying to figure that out. Seriously, it would be take forever.
What do you require from me, sirs?
I want to send this to you. If it'll
Yeah, Eric, we need to check out this video, man, from that Damien's got. It's like a New World Order video. I want to see if I can learn anything.
I learned a few things. I like it. It was a very good video. Like I said, it actually. Let me see if I can get my Hangouts. I don't know what happened to my computer, but all the stuff that I had lined across this top, all my Hangouts and all that, disappeared. So.
Yeah, I can pull it up over here. Once this, I have a separate external Wi-Fi adapter.
I'm gonna send it to the
When I
Hangout.
plug it in, my computer rarely flashes out now.
Well,
Guys,
I've only had a problem with
down. No, this one's
I think I
pretty
might
reliable.
get a screen share deal.
What's the name of it?
Huh?
What's the name of the video? I'll type it in and I'll bring it up.
Oh, it is. I already copied the address and all that, but it's on the Hippie Modern, so it's HIPPIEMODERNE. The Hippie Modern. And the name of the video is Uncensored Copy of Video Blocked Worldwide.
Somebody put on the app with the crickets. You need the crickets.
I still haven't found my sound effects.
Hold on, I got new sound effects.
Oh, well, how did you do that?
What the hell was that?
I feel like you sometimes, and I'm not ashamed to say it, and I like it. You're pretty awesome. Okay, awesome like pasta. 10 clients. You might be a new age hippie. You know what this is. You know exactly what this is. No, It's not a bomb, okay? It's for tea. These are for the leaves, to filter the leaves. It's not like, no, Mom, it's not a bomb, okay? I'm not smoking, alright? Number 2, you own some of these.
Yeah.
You like to feel their energy. This is your Bible. It knows everything. Synagogue.
There's an E on the end of that hippie modern.
You know what these are. Chakra, chakra, chakra. I like to wear my chakras on my sleeve, but not my heart chakra, because I'm a gemstone. I am a rock. I'm not just going to let you have it. You can't just have it. Maybe you can. If you're a girl, you're not wearing a bra right now, because that's just not the most. For boys, probably just letting it flow.
Okay, this ain't
Maybe
this
getting
is not the
arrested right
video.
now. Go to somewhere where that's not normal.
No, and the end of that, the hippie modern is actually a channel, and at the end of that is an E. So it's all of that plus an E, the hippie modern, with an E.
There it is.
And if you scroll down, because I can see your screen there, if you scroll down, it's
You can see me, and the NSA can see me.
yeah, all them motherfuckers.
Nah, they're not paying attention to us right now.
Nope, it's if you scroll up, there it is. Illuminati
The very last one.
Yeah, Illuminati.
The lowest one.
Here's Morgan.
Copy of video blocked worldwide.
No, it's at the bottom, it looked like. That one.
Right there. The one with the eye. That's it. The Illuminati documentaries. That's the one. But there's one, it's actually got all 10 parts on it. But there's a video that has all 10 in it. And it's got, it's towards the top of all the videos. I think you scrolled past it. You did. It's
We're going for 2 hours and 19 minutes more. All right, I'm up.
Yeah, it's
No, is this the right one?
2 hours, 19 minutes.
Let's
and
just watch
46
part of it and comment on it.
Okay.
That's what I was going to do
anyway. Earlier.
Yeah, because it's cut up in parts.
Might be a 2-part show.
It might be. At any rate, it is very informational. Especially for those.
Yeah, I can bring down a site permanently if there's a copyright violation. We're down for 6 months. That's why we're going to the backup station.
No, there's not going to be any copyright violation because I've already talked to the person who uploaded it. I got permission to air it, so.
Cool. Oh, that's right. You were telling me that. Cool.
Yep.
So we're good there.
Yep.
So how did it become that the 23-year-olds going to bed before us? That's Saturday.
That excites me.
That's
well,
wild.
he thinks he's got to work tomorrow.
That means that I can push harder, even better than I thought I could against 20-year-olds.
We could just stop working and put a PayPal button on our site.
Yeah. is there any audio?
To preserve our independence, we must not let our rulers load us with perpetual debt. We must make our choice between economy and liberty or profusion and servitude. I place economy among the first and most important of republican virtues, and public debt is the greatest of the dangers to be feared. It is incumbent on every generation to pay its own debts as it goes. If the American people ever allow private banks to control the issue of their money, first by inflation and then by deflation, the banks and corporations that will grow up around them will deprive the people of their property until their children will wake up homeless on the very continent their fathers conquered.
I think I heard that in somebody's book.
Right?
Yes. Yeah, where are we at right now? We're fucked.
Rise of the New World Order, The Culling of Man. Must read.
There's a chart I saw recently that I can't get out of my head. A Harvard business professor and economist asked more than 5,000 Americans how they thought wealth was distributed in the United States. This is what they said they thought it was. Dividing the country into 5 rough groups of the top, bottom, and middle 3 20% groups, they asked people how they thought the wealth in this country was divided. Then he asked them what they thought was the ideal distribution. And 92%, that's at least 9 out of 10 of them, said it should be more like this. In other words, more equitable than they think it is. Now that fact is telling, admittedly, the notion that most Americans know that the system is already skewed unfairly. But what's most interesting to me is the reality compared to our perception. The ideal is as far removed from our perception of reality as the actual distribution is from what we think exists in this country. So ignore the ideal for a moment. Here's what we think it is again. And here is the actual shockingly skewed. Not only do the bottom 20% and the next 20%, the bottom 40% of Americans barely any wealth. I mean, it's hard to even see them on the chart.
40%.
But the top 1% has more of the country's wealth than 9 out of 10 Americans believe the entire top 20% should have. Mind-blowing. But let's look at it another way, because I find this chart kind of difficult to wrap my head around. Instead, let's reduce the 311 million Americans to just a representative 100 people. Make it simple. Here they are. Teachers, coaches, firefighters, construction workers, engineers, doctors, lawyers, some investment bankers, a CEO, maybe a celebrity or two. Now let's line them up according to their wealth. Poorest people on the left, wealthiest on the right, just a steady row of folks based on their net worth. We'll color code them like we did before based on which 20% quintile they fall into. Now let's reduce the total wealth of the United States, which was roughly $54 trillion in 2009, to this symbolic pile of cash. And let's distribute it among our 100 Americans. Well, here's socialism, all the wealth of the country distributed equally. We all know that won't work. We need to encourage people to work and work hard to achieve that good old American dream and keep our country moving forward. So, here's that ideal we asked everyone about. Something like this curve. This isn't too bad. We've got some incentive, as the wealthiest folks are now about 10 to 20 times better off than the poorest Americans. But hey, even the poor folks aren't actually poor, since the poverty line has stayed almost entirely off the chart. We have a super healthy middle class with a smooth transition into wealth. And yes, Republicans and Democrats alike chose this curve. 9 out of 10 people, 92%, said this was a nice, ideal distribution of America's wealth. But let's move on. This is what people think America's wealth distribution actually looks like. Not as equitable, clearly, but for me, even this still looks pretty great. Yes, the poorest 20 to 30% are starting to suffer quite a lot compared to the ideal, and the middle class is certainly struggling more than they were, while the rich and wealthy are making roughly 100 times that of the poorest Americans and about 10 times that of the still healthy middle class. Sadly, this isn't even close to the reality. Here is the...
Yeah, Damon, and I have seen this, and this is why, once again, we have even mainstream media, people weigh in here. that are sick of this shit coming
Right.
out, you know?
Actual distribution of wealth in America. The poorest Americans don't even register. They're down to pocket change. And the middle class is barely distinguishable from the poor. In fact, even the rich between the top 10 and 20 percentile are worse off. Only the top 10% are better off. And how much better off? So much better off that the top 2 to 5% are actually off the chart at this scale. And the top 1%, this guy, well, his stack of money stretches 10 times higher than we can show. Here's his stack of cash, restacked, all by itself. This is the top 1% we've been hearing so much about. So much green in his pockets that I have to give him a whole new column of his own, because he won't fit on my chart. 1% of America has 40% of all the nation's wealth. The bottom 80%, 8 out of every 10 people, or 80 out of these 100, only has 7% between them. And this has only gotten worse in the last 20 to 30 years. While the richest 1% take home almost a quarter of the national income today, in 1976, they took home only 9%, meaning their share of income has nearly tripled in the last 30 years. The top 1% own half the country's stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. The bottom 50% of Americans own only 0.5% of these investments, which means they aren't investing. They're just scraping by. I'm sure many of these wealthy people have worked very hard for their money. But do you really believe that the CEO is working 380 times harder than his average employee? Not his lowest paid employee, not the janitor, but the average earner in his company. The average worker needs to work more than a month to earn what the CEO makes in 1 hour. We certainly don't have to go all the way to socialism to find something that is fair for hardworking Americans. We don't even have to achieve what most of us consider might be ideal. All we need to do is wake up and realize that the reality in this country is not at all what we think it is.
Amazing, isn't it?
Every human on this planet is enslaved, whether they know it or not. This is not the crude and primitive slavery of ancient times. It does not rely on whips and shackles to keep the oppressed
I've watched this one dozens of times. This one is sweet.
in their place. These tools have been rendered obsolete by much more sophisticated methods. That most of the enslaved are unaware of their condition and would in fact argue fiercely that they are free is a testament to the effectiveness of these invisible chains. You've heard the expression, money makes the world go round. There's truth in that. Money is the prime motive for human labor in modern civilization. If you want food, shelter, and clothing, you must have money. And unless you're part of that tiny minority that has more money than they could ever spend in their lifetime, then you must work, beg, or steal for that money. That's why you get up in the morning and go to work, even if you hate your job. And that's why the specter of unemployment is more terrifying for most people than the prospect of spending 50 years of their life performing menial tasks within the confines of a fluorescent-lit cubicle. Of course, in Western countries, some are fortunate enough to have pulled away from the brink and do not live in fear that their basic needs will be met, at least for now. And yet they keep spinning the hamster wheel. Why is that? Could it be because money and the bling that it buys have become symbols of status and prestige? Money offers an illusory form of social validation, but even those who are not caught up in distinguishing themselves by how much they accumulate still must acknowledge the social stigma that comes with poverty. The combination of these primal motivators, the need for food, shelter, clothing, and social validation, is a very powerful force. It's enough to drive humans to engage in all forms of activity, even to the point of harming themselves or others in the process. The accumulation of money is therefore an accumulation of social and psychological power. And those who control the creation of money control this power at its source. So who controls the creation of money? Well, in the case of the US dollar, it's not the government. This shouldn't be an earth-shattering revelation. The fact that the Federal Reserve is a private institution owned by a cartel of the world's most powerful banks is quickly becoming common knowledge. Even the mainstream media doesn't deny it at this point. However, the full extent of what this means is only clear when you understand how the banking system really works. And unfortunately, this isn't something we're taught in school. Once you have it explained to you in simple terms, you'll understand why. Every dollar in circulation is loaned into existence by a bank. The process begins with the Federal Reserve when they loan out money to the U.S. government and to other entities. You've probably heard this talked about before, especially in regards to the interest rate on those loans, which the Federal Reserve raises and lowers depending on economic conditions. But what's never talked about in the mainstream is the fact that the Fed isn't actually loaning out money that they have. They are merely typing those dollars into existence on a computer. You may be inclined to believe this money is based on some physical backing like gold, but you'd be mistaken. The Federal Reserve hasn't owned any gold since the 1930s.
We don't. The Federal Reserve does not own any gold at all. We have not owned gold since 1934. So we have not engaged in any gold swaps.
When the Federal Reserve loans money to the U.S. government gives the Federal Reserve government bonds in exchange. These bonds are simply written promises to pay back the money that was loaned to them with interest through taxation. So to be clear here, the government is taking out a loan from a bank that's creating that money out of thin air, and they're expecting you, the taxpayer, to cover that loan. The absurdity of this arrangement is even more obvious when you realize that up until 1913, the U.S. government created its own money and had no need for a bank to play the part of a middleman. That new money loaned out by the Federal Reserve enters circulation through the banks, accumulates in the banks, and in the end, the banks end up holding all the cards, not necessarily for the reasons you may imagine. Contrary to popular belief, the majority of money in circulation isn't actually created by the Federal Reserve, but rather by the ordinary banks that businesses and individuals use for their checking, savings, and mortgages. How is this possible? Well, like the Federal Reserve, ordinary banks are allowed to loan out money that they don't have. There are, of course, restrictions. Banks are only allowed to loan out 10 times the amount of money that they actually have. So if Wells Fargo has $1,000, they can loan you $10,000, and they expect you to pay back that $10,000 plus interest. This is called fractional reserve banking. 75% of all money in circulation is created in this manner. Now, as bad as this may seem, this is really only the tip of the iceberg. Most banks structure payment plans so that for many years, you're paying almost nothing but interest, and only start paying down the principal gradually. The result of this strategy is that in most cases, you pay far more in interest when you purchase a house than the house itself is worth. So here's the real question. If all money is created through loans, where does the money come from to pay for the interest? Let's say we reset the system to zero, loan $1,000 into existence, and charge 7% interest. We now have a total of $1,000 in the system, but we owe $1,000 plus interest, and that's more. The interest ensures that there's always more debt than money in circulation, because the money to pay the interest doesn't exist. Never has, never will. This would be obvious if there was only one loan being issued to one person in this manner, but when performed on a global scale, the reality is hidden. It is transformed into a game of musical chairs where the person ending up without a seat faces bankruptcy and financial ruin. Because every dollar in existence is tied to a debt, this creates an unseen force that draws those dollars back to the banks, kind of like gravity attracts a physical object to Earth.
What happened? Oh, it's just quiet.
Hello, hello.
Right? Hey, I got sounds.
There he is. Eric, what happened to the audio? Hey?
Oh, it goes out like that when
There isn't any.
yeah, there's no sound until it starts to
Thanks to inflation, I'm now 11 cents. I should be reading this.
The catch here is that it's the labor of the people that moves that money. Every hour that you work to pay back a loan or to keep the government from throwing you in jail over income taxes is an hour worked for the banks. The total receipts from personal income taxes just barely covers the interest on the national debt. And even the principal for that debt all ends up back in the hands of the banks. Now remember, that bank created that money out of nothing. Once you understand that the money that banks loan out isn't actually an asset, but is in fact a piece of legal fiction, it should be clear that you're working for these banks for free. This is a cleverly disguised form of slavery. If you manage to pay your monthly payments, then you are a successful slave, and you are allowed to keep the material comforts that come with that status. But if for some reason you fail to make those monthly payments, then the bank or the IRS comes to take your house, your car, and anything else you have of value. And if somehow, even with this enormous financial advantage, the banks still get themselves into trouble, you, the taxpayer, will be forced to bail them out. No matter what, the banks win. To say the game is rigged is an understatement. You might be inclined to think that if you live outside the United States and you don't use dollars, then this situation has no bearing on your life. But you would be wrong. The dollar is both the world reserve currency and the only currency in which oil is sold on global markets. This is often referred to as the petrodollar status. This means that wherever you live, whether your country is an oil exporter or an oil importer, you are affected. If your country is an oil importer, then you are affected by the fact that in order to keep your country running, you have to acquire dollars. To acquire those dollars, you have to send goods and services to the United States or to someone else who did. Likewise, if your country is an oil exporter, you are affected by the fact that you send your oil to the U.S. in exchange for this debt-based money. You are exchanging something of real and tangible value for digits on a screen. And if for some reason the leadership of your country grows tired of this arrangement and tries to pull off the dollar, you quickly find the United States military at your doorstep ready to open up a can of democracy on you. Iraq learned this the hard way when they switched their oil sales to euros in 2000, and Libya when they tried to organize a gold-based currency for Africa. Debt-based money is a masterpiece of social engineering, the ultimate tool of the ruling elite. Yet in reality, the whole thing is nothing more than a construct of belief. Our chains are the chains of the mind, and the path to freedom must also begin in the mind. If we want a better future for our children and grandchildren, then we must work right now to reach a critical mass of awakening.
The only difference between these two notes is your belief that one is more valuable than the other. But you still need it. Still need it if you want to buy groceries or get gas.
Exactly.
Federal Reserve. Yeah, it's kind of like that. We can do that, or we can do this in between. What if I told you one private bank counterfeited $17 trillion of your money and gave it to the ultra rich?
Yeah, they printed it up themselves and then gave it to themselves. That's what it's
Yeah, except it's
amounts to.
quadrillions. With derivatives, it's quadrillions. Your money's being used to bet on the ponies.
Just how rich and powerful is Lord Evelyn Rothschild? Historically, the Rothschild family wealth was hidden in underground vaults. The Rothschild secret financial records were never audited and never accounted for. Their family commissioned biographies give the illusion that their family fortune has dwindled, but researchers estimate their wealth at close to $500 trillion, more than half the wealth of the entire world.
Wow.
Besides their many castles, palace mansions, wineries, racehorses, and exotic resorts, the Rothschilds bought Reuters in the 1800s. Reuters then bought the Associated Press, which selects and delivers the same news stories to the entire world, day after day. They have controlling interest in 3 major television networks and easily avoid media attention since they own it. They also fix the world price of gold on a daily basis and profit from its ups and downs. Over the centuries, the Rothschilds have amassed trillions of dollars worth of gold bullion in their subterranean vaults and have cornered the world's gold supply. They own controlling interest in the world's largest oil company, Royal Dutch Shell. They operate phony charities and offshore banking services where the wealth of the black nobility and the Vatican is hidden in secret accounts at Rothschild Swiss banks, trusts, and holding companies. Although Evelyn Rothschild looks like a harmless gray-haired old man, make no mistake about it, Rothschild and his ancestors have handpicked presidents, crashed stock markets, bankrupted nations, orchestrated wars, and sponsored the mass murder and impoverishment of millions.
David Rockefeller's private Federal Reserve gave him enough money to buy politicians and presidents. You don't fucking say. Allow me to issue and control the money of a nation, and I care not who writes the laws. Rothschild has warrants out.
That's when you name a boy Evelyn.
Rothschild and Rockefeller can't even go to Russia anymore. In several states and countries in Europe, because they have international warrants out for them right now. What do I know about that?
Huh.
Hey, one of you guys got to read. It's like past the. You read next, Jimmy.
Oh,
Yes,
right.
Are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed.
On June 4, 1963, President Kennedy signed Executive Order 11110. This executive order empowered the U.S. Treasury to issue real money without the Fed. It would have worked. Kennedy's plan to dismantle the Federal Reserve machine had begun. 6 months later, John F. Kennedy went to Dallas and never returned. No way they could do that. The new president,
was
Lyndon
aliens.
Johnson, threw out Kennedy's order. Since JFK, no president has dared confront the secret powers behind the Federal Reserve.
Blood money.
The Bretton Woods Agreement established the dollar as the world reserve currency, which meant that international commodities were priced in dollars. The agreement, which gave the United States a distinct financial advantage, was made under the condition that those dollars would remain redeemable for gold at a consistent rate of $35 per ounce. The United States promised not to print very much money, but this was on the honor system, because the Federal Reserve refused to allow any audits or supervision of its printing presses. In the years leading up to 1970, expenditures in the Vietnam War made it clear to many countries that the U.S. was printing far more money than it had in gold. And in response, they began to ask for their gold back. This, of course, set off a rapid decline in the value of the dollar. The situation climaxed in 1971 when France attempted to withdraw its gold and Nixon refused. On August 15th, he made the following announcement.
I have directed the Secretary of the Treasury to take the action necessary to defend the dollar against the speculators. I have directed Secretary Connally to suspend temporarily the convertibility of the dollar into gold or other reserve assets, except in amounts and conditions determined to be in the interest of monetary stability and in the best interest of the United States.
This was obviously not a temporary suspension, as he claimed, but rather a permanent default. And for the rest of the world who had entrusted the United States with their gold, it was outright theft. In 1973, President Nixon asked King Faisal of Saudi Arabia to accept only U.S. dollars as payment for oil and to invest any excess profits in U.S. Treasury bonds, notes, and bills. In return, Nixon offered military protection for Saudi oil fields. The same offer was extended to each of the world's key oil-producing countries, and by 1975, every member of OPEC had agreed to only sell their oil in U.S. dollars. The act of moving the dollar off of gold and tying it to foreign oil instantly forced every oil-importing country in the world to start maintaining a constant supply of Federal Reserve paper. And in order to get that paper, they would have to send real physical goods to America. This was the birth of the petrodollar. Paper went out, everything America needed came in, and the United States got very, very rich as a result. It was the largest financial con in recorded history. The arms race of the Cold War was a game of poker. Military expenditures were the chips, and the U.S. had an endless supply of chips. With the petrodollar under its belt, it was able to raise the stakes higher and higher, outspending every other country on the planet, until eventually U.S. military expenditures surpassed that of all other nations in the world combined. The Soviet Union never had a chance. The collapse of the communist bloc in 1991 removed the last counterbalance to American military might. The United States was now an undisputed superpower with no rival. Many hoped that this would mark the beginning of a new era of peace and stability. Unfortunately, there were those in high places who had other ideas. Within that same year, the U.S. invaded Iraq in the first Gulf War. And after crushing the Iraqi military and destroying their infrastructure, including water purification plants and hospitals, crippling sanctions were imposed which prevented that infrastructure from being rebuilt. These sanctions, which were initiated by Bush Sr. and sustained throughout the entire Clinton administration, lasted for over a decade and were estimated to have killed over 500,000 children. The Clinton administration was fully aware of these figures.
We have heard that 500,000 children have died. I mean, that's more children than died in Hiroshima. And, you know, is the price worth it? I think this is a very hard choice, but we think the price is worth it.
Miss Albright, what exactly was it that was worth killing 500,000 kids for?
I think you're an evil lizard lady. That's what I think, Madeleine Albright.
In November of 2000, Iraq began selling its oil exclusively in euros. This was a direct attack on the dollar and on U.S. financial dominance, and it wasn't going to be tolerated.
This is some really poignant shit right here, too.
Help?
Well, I cannot stress enough that in Sentinel's book, it mirrors a lot of what we're showing right now. Because I have seen this documentary several times. It's dynamite. And
you've seen this before, Eric? This particular one?
Yeah, I've seen it a couple times. Well, this one and bits and pieces of the other ones.
I've seen bits and pieces of this one. Like the one was from Empire of the State, or the where the lady was talking about the stuff.
I believe part of this is either from Loose Change or Loose Change 2 also.
Yep. This goes exactly hand in hand with what Sentinel put out in his first book, though. I mean, you started with
totally,
Reserve, and then you had a section about 9/11. You know, in your next one, we're going to have to get together and write a new section about 9/11 with all the new information, you know, and some of the new theories.
And throw Sandy Hook in there.
It must throw Sandy Hook in there. I mean, Wolfgang Halbig is...
That almost needs to be a separate book, like a false flag book. You should be writing that, Eric.
Yeah, I am. I've been writing a lot lately.
I could be a guest writer.
But Wolfgang Halbig is more than happy to be part of that. Jim Fetzer, more than happy to help out.
Well, the problem is, so Fetzer put a bunch of work in and wrote a book about Sandy Hook, and Amazon won't let them sell it on their site. They're the fucking only game in town, practically, up for a self-published guy. So that's a tough road to hoe to get that one out.
You gave your first book away for free.
Yeah, that's how I kind of got myself established. So maybe he'll do it and get his foot in the door that way. I don't know. We almost need like a good truth. I've been thinking about starting this because nobody else really has. I don't think, like some kind of a publishing company where you just would be partners with the people turning out the books and shit. You'd have to vet the books obviously to keep your reputation safe. But I mean, like I can't go anywhere and get my book published. I got to do all on my own. So almost need to band together a bunch of like truth authors and start a co-op or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think writing is very important right now, and getting back to, like I said, basics, just not staring at the devices constantly.
Exactly. I'm not staring at a device. I'm staring at you, right?
As we're staring at each other through a device.
Bozo the clown, right there. Shit. Bam. Woo!
All right.
We're back on.
That's a good note. It's definitely a good look.
There it's tracking.
Yeah. I want one of those helmets.
Yeah, I was trying to get a mustache going, but I couldn't get it to work.
Couldn't get it to work.
Yeah, 'cause I shaved when I got home from camping because I had so much shit in my beard, my mustache. I was like, fuck, I'll just shave it off and start over.
That's right. That's how we do it. My hair up. Okay, I'm going to shave my head now.
That's it.
Oh,
See,
shit.
I want
Got some stuff in my mustache. I better shave it. Fuck
yeah. Shit, it'd been 12, 15 years since I did that. I had sand and shit. Fuck. Too much. So, what happened to the video? What happened to the shit? Today is your birthday. You had it been there.
Did they take the video down on you?
No? Wasted away in Margaritaville.
That's the basics, though. Shouldn't I mean? It's just a given amongst people that are even halfway awake. The Federal Reserve is private.
A privately held for-profit corporation.
Right. The banks are loan money at interest, and then they loan it to us at a much greater interest rate. That's how that
Mostly
line
by
works.
European and Israeli banks.
So you didn't tell me you're on the beach today, man. Where you at? Waikiki?
Margaritaville, I already told you.
Up there with Willie and what's his name?
I'm up at Cape Cod. I'm hanging out with the Kennedys.
Well, guys, I'm going to cut out. Do you want me to continue to play that?
We can save it for another time.
I can keep it rolling. It's no problem.
Let's bookmark that spot. We'll hook it. We'll do it. We'll work it up again the next couple of days or something, huh? It's a good refresher course.
I can't. Now I'm
I don't know how I get to Maui. What the hell?
You guys do realize I didn't mean to even have that effect on the last 2 times I came on. Never said I was not blind. Live and reasonably sober on Saturday nights.
Reasonably, exactly. All right, on. Will you? When are you back on the air, Spitfire? Monday? Tuesday.
I'm gonna go on the air Tuesday with Vicki Davis. She writes for TVOI, Voice Idaho. Family, as close as you can be, with Michael Emery, Becky Hudson. We're going to talk about some truth. And it's going to be a hard pill for many to swallow because we all can experience cognitive dissonance, even in the truth community, where we claim to be awake. But
right.
We have evidence that this weapon was not assembled. It was in pieces, and as long as it's not assembled, there's no charge. It's like having a bunch of equipment out in your shed.
Yeah, but you haven't made anything out of it yet.
Right. I'm a mean road warrior car. The stuff that I have in my shed. And those nukes, the ones that were missing off the East Coast.
Heh.
That was me.
They're in your backyard.
You got me, right? They're not in the backyard. They're in this underground bunker I'm in. Anyway.
Awesome. Well, good hanging out, bro.
Yeah, Tuesday. And
we'll look you up then.
Well, you two will be co-hosting.
Yeah, shoot me the link. What time? Like 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time?
10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, correct.
Yeah. Same old, 7 o'clock my time. Got it.
It will always be, although we're not doing consistent live broadcasts, when we have a chance to do interviews and get really pertinent information, truth that needs to get out there, separate the wheat from the chaff, patriots from, I'm not even going to say fake patriots because we're still sorting them out. It's a non-ending sorting out process. But, and we're still on IPM Nation every day at 4 p.m. They're still rolling out the episodes, our old episodes, Sentinel. So,
cool.
Yep. Much love to Matt Coran for having us on IPM Nation still. It's a great frickin' station. They play music in between the shows. Shows are diverse. Some of them are really funny. But good guy. Been good to us. Shout out to him. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to everybody who stayed true to their heart and saw through the lies and the disinformation. Welcome to the resistance.
Peace. All right, lead, bro.
Peace.
Midnight. Yeah, I'm probably pretty close too, Damien.
Yeah. I think I'll probably jolt out of here too.
Yeah, it was a good little hangout. I'll have to check out the rest of that vid, or we can watch it. If you want to do a part 2 of this, we can do that too.
Yeah, I didn't leave, by the way. I'm just sitting here watching. Touching myself, watching you, touching myself, watching. Just sitting here.
I can't fap to this.
Just saying, kick. What's that the kids use? Is it kick? Can you imagine growing up and having instant like sites like that?
Man, this world would be a way fucked up place.
It used to be like 14-year-old just hitting puberty boys huddled around the TV before Dad got home and Mom got back from the grocery store, and you put it in the frickin' VHS tape. First time at Cherry High or something like that, and you're all kind of sitting around, all looking at each other awkward. You know what I mean? But you're still like, wow, that's how it used to be. Now it's at our children's fingertips 24/7, and it's messing with our kids' minds.
I actually went to my girlfriend's house, and she pulled out her dad's porns, or his Wii magazines and Penthouse.
Nice. Yeah, it's just on tame now. That's nothing compared to what's on the fucking internet now.
Well, it's a gradual progression towards, adulthood when you have children wanting to commit suicide because of relationships they had online where they never even met the person in real life.
Yeah.
That to me that's the whole dehumanization thing. And I think we're waking up to it. But it's up to us as, parents, not just parents, but it's up to us as human beings to want to leave a better world and enhance our children and want better for them and want them to think on a higher level and come to a higher consciousness. When we see children, take extra special care of them. We're nurturing that seed.
Right. It's crazy. Crazy. And although the internet is a great tool, it's also been part of the devastation of our society the last 10 years.
Yeah, we're
double-edged
heading down the
sword.
shitter for
It is
sure.
a double-edged sword because in one light, some of the breakthroughs in modern technology can allow somebody who wouldn't be able to walk have a leg, and an arm. So I mean, there's
Right.
good practical uses. When I say the medical tyranny, I surely am speaking of
The pharmaceutical
a
industry.
lot of them, but not all of them. It's this all or nothing mentality that's going to destroy us. And if the alternative media and mainstream media can unite and hold hands and say fuck you, you're only 1%,
Why don't
then
we? Why don't we invite some of those people that have dropped off the face of national media and bring them here so that they can do some good here and report what they know.
we'll continue to build it and they will come.
They know more than what they're saying on the news. And if they're saying, "Oh, this is fucked up," and I'm not reporting this because it's not fucking true. If they're doing that, then they know the truth.
Right.
So what are we doing? Are we watching the video or what?
Oh, you want me to keep playing that? Like I said, I'll put it back on.
Oh, if you're gonna hang out, maybe I'll just watch a little
Sleep
bit.
anyway. I know you. You put on a video and go to sleep. Oh wait, no, that's Scott.
I'm just trying to get that one last kiss before I go to sleep. One more kiss.
Kristen.
How old is this video? Did anybody know?
I can tell you in 1 sec here. Oh, it's April. Really? It's that new, huh? April 8th, 2016. I'm pretty sure I saw this last
That's like
month.
a re-upload,
No, 2 months ago,
probably,
in May. Right. Freaking, yeah, love it. If you guys are still on in about a half hour, I may be back. Much love. Ya bless.
Yeah, bless, man.
You're gonna have to read now because I'm.
Oh, people can just read it.
That's Jet Fuel. Obviously, did that. Fucking idiots.
What they do?
That's what jet fuel does. It doesn't burn trees down, but it does that. That's it.
Oh yeah, yeah. But it leaves the field completely nude.
You guys are not going to let me go to bed. Bringing this on. Because, Damien, I was so deep, in my mind, for what we were trying to achieve, which is exposing the people who did this, trying to do something good, but you talk about, like, cult mentality. 9/11 Truth Movement has been hijacked for a very long time now. And you fall into it for 3 or 4 months. But I was an admin in 2 of the top 9/11 Truth groups, and the people at the top, they're ridiculous. They're the infiltrators. Cass Sunstein told us this. She came right out and said they're here. 1 out of every 5 people in the chat room.
The U.S. government, with the assistance of the mainstream media,
there
began
for
to build
nefarious
a massive
purposes.
propaganda campaign claiming that Iraq had
Good
weapons
night.
of mass destruction
God bless.
and was planning to use them.
Peace.
In 2003, the U.S. invaded, and once they had control of the country, oil sales were immediately switched back to dollars. This is particularly notable due to the fact that switching back to the dollar meant a 15 to 20% loss in revenue due to the euro's higher value. It doesn't make any sense at all unless you take the petrodollar into account. Colin Powell, who led the charge to war with Iraq by presenting false evidence to the UN in 2003, is also currently on the CFR board of directors.
Indeed, the facts and Iraq's behavior show that Saddam Hussein and his regime are concealing their efforts to produce more weapons of mass destruction. My colleagues, every statement I make today is backed up by sources, solid sources. These are not assertions. What we're giving you are facts and conclusions based on solid intelligence.
Those weapons of mass destruction got to be somewhere. Nope, no weapons over there.
I absolutely love this meme.
And never mind fixing the freeways. Let's just blow some shit up.
Exactly, right?
Totally.
Oh, this is an interesting piece right here. Because it shows the directive and how much propaganda they actually write up for news stations to read, and how they all are
In the political theatre, it's easy for parties to change the script to suit the scene when support's not going their way. But are American voters willing to read between the lines and work out what's really meant? That is my report, and I tries to find out.
The art of politics is made up of many things. Handshakes, smiles, and a good arsenal of verbal camouflage.
Americans have a lot of trouble dealing with reality. Americans have trouble facing the truth.
Or as the late American comedian George Carlin put it, euphemistic language that conceals reality.
Poor people used to live in slums. Now the economically disadvantaged occupy substandard housing in the inner cities. And they're broke. They're broke. They don't have a negative cash flow position. They're broke.
And today, America's love affair with semantics has given birth to a new phrase to describe the rich.
Job creators in America basically are on strike.
Increasing taxes on job creators. This administration and this president, policies are hostile to job creators.
Instead of just saying the wealthy who make over $250,000 a year, if you say job creator, then
Hey, gentlemen, I just got some very mind-blowing, sensitive information. Damien.
Yes.
Would you mind ending the show and us talking off air? And then on Tuesday, we will fill you in on this. fill the viewers in on it?
Sure.
Okay, cool.
Sorry, guys. I guess we have some extremely sensitive information. So, thank you, Kristen. Thank you, Doug. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, honey. And we'll see.
Yep.
Have a good night.
Good luck with me just trying to go to bed.
How are you?
Thanks. We love you. God bless.
I'm going to be right there with you now. So, all right. Bye, everyone.